Hello friends, Those Back Pages here. I hope you're well. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about grading and show off some mail and stuff like that. As you can probably tell by the title of tonight's episode, the grading companies, or third-party graders, are not out to get you. I just want to say that I understand that grading is not for everyone. I've stated many times why I like grading. I could go over it again at another time, but the Cliff Notes version is it's in my opinion, it's a great way to get a card from point A to point B in the internet age. At a show, things are different. You can really examine a card, especially if you know what particular issue it is. And I get it. On the internet, you can send it back. You do that enough times, and it's deflating. I'm seeing a lot of discussion lately on social media about CSG being tough on grading. And to the point that people are making posts saying, I submitted 50 cards, I submitted 100 cards, I submitted however many cards, and they did me dirty. They did me wrong. They only gave me X amount of gem mints. They didn't give me any 10s. Yada, yada, yada. Now, I think a lot of these people are the origins of these complaints, the people posting these complaints. I'm not going to say they're new to the hobby, but it just comes across as they've been in the hobby a couple of years. I'm not saying the new age, post-pandemic, which I like to call the new age versus the old age. And I'm sure some of them are around the old age as well. But I don't think that a lot of them were around in the O's, the 2000s, the O's. See, I came back to the hobby in 2005, and BGS was king at the time. And submitting the BGS was very easy. But they graded difficult. This was the black BGS 10 hadn't even been introduced yet, or invented, however you want to look at it. And it was really next to impossible to get a BGS 10. They did exist. Same formula, at least 3 10s. Same mathematical formula to get a 10. But BGS 9 5s were not a given. I'll say that again for the people in the back. BGS 9 5s, true gem mint cards, were not a given. It was the exception. BGS 9s, 9.0s were very common. I think some of the better submitters at the time would probably get, and again, I don't remember offhand, but if 50-50 split would not be out of the question. Then of course, you had the BGS 9 5s that weren't true gems, and true gem is a commonly thrown around term now, but that means that there are no subgrades lower than 9.5, because ideally your gem mint card should not have mint qualities, in my opinion.
So
seeing a lot of people, oh, I wouldn't bother with CSG, they grade too tough. Well, I think a lot of these people don't know, because they weren't around, that that's how BGS was 15 years ago. Oh, they grade too tough. And then some people say PSA grades too easy. They give out 10s like candy. That very well may be. But if CSG grades too tough and people are pissed off about it, collectors should take advantage of that. Use this opportunity to add nice cards to your collection at a lower price without the gem tax or the 10 tax. That's what I've been doing. I just picked up a CSG 9.5 card. Unfortunately, no subgrades. Talk about that in a second. But I paid a little less than what a PSA 9 version of that same card goes for. This is a common card, not a rare card. And about half of what a PSA 10 goes for. Same card. To me, that makes sense. So, subgrades. I prefer CSG cards with subgrades, just like I prefer BGS cards with subgrades. Just because the option is available, PSA does never offered subgrades. So not having subgrades is no big deal because they've never offered it. Now, I know a lot of people, oh, PSA doesn't tell you why I got this, why I got that. Look, all the grading companies make mistakes. All of them. The thing to keep in mind is the exception is not the rule. These grading companies aren't out to get you. Some people go on 180 degree and say that PSA is incentivized to give you 10s because then they charge you more. They upcharge you. While that's true, that's been the policy for 31 years. It's not new. But that's a whole nother, it's insurance and everything else. That's a whole nother ballgame. I have some mail to show off, but I think I basically covered that. And I've got a couple other really nice cards that haven't arrived yet. I'll have to show them off next time and reiterate why it's somewhat of a joke the way that CSG is being treated. But, you know, the joke's on sellers, I suppose, because I don't mind paying less for something I want. And it does seem like these people that are complaining about the low gem rates, whether it be CSG, SGC, BGS, or PSA, seem to be people that are more inclined to be on the selling side of things. And I have no problem with that. Someone wants to sell cards and make money, go for it. But maybe the free money gravy train is coming to an end. Some of these people seem to be getting angry because when they want to sell their slabs, they'll get less money. Oh, but, you know, PSA charges so much to submit to... Well, yeah, I understand that. But they also understand how the hobby works, the business works, and they're getting their piece of the pie, so to speak, I suppose. Nobody's forcing anyone to submit cards. You can sell raw cards. It's not against the law. But everything, you know, monetary-wise, it's in your favor to sell it graded for various reasons. Getting more money is one of them. Fighting against returns is another one. Obviously, people can still return graded cards, etc., but it's less likely. And I understand the point of view people have. They don't like grading. Okay. Well, I do. So, and this is my space here. Well, not my space, but my channel. So, and I've probably bought more raw cards this year intentionally than in a long time, which I showed off 2 episodes ago, I think it was. Speaking of which, I had someone suggest that maybe I was pumping my cards in that video, and it's just not the case. I mean, I use this channel to share my knowledge and to try to educate people, long time and new time collectors, and maybe, just maybe, teach you something or give you some tips that you can benefit from. And I've had more than a few people tell me I have helped them, and that's why I do it. This is not a big channel. This is not a channel that's, here for the clicks, here for the drama. Well, and I wouldn't say I've never covered the drama, but there's one channel now that's been around for a long time that's all about the drama now. This last few weeks, exposing people in the business, in the hobby. Well, it is what it is. I never saw much use in putting down the people who support you for the sake of just for the sake of putting down. But, these people do. It is what it is. Good for them if that's what makes them happy. It is, like I said, it is what it is. But I try to keep marching forward. I try to share what I'm collecting at the time, which, that particular episode was about my current focus, which I've always said is terrible as far as focus goes, because they don't tend to last for a long time. So I picked up this I've had this a little bit now, but it's just another card that there are no parallels. 92 Donruss Elite. Ken Griffey Jr. Picture at Yankee Stadium. Not particularly the best photo, but still a picture at Yankee Stadium. No subgrades on this. This card is individually numbered to 10,000. So, and there's no parallels, which I'm very happy to have that in the collection. I do have a PSA 8. This one was less money than the PSA 8, even though it's a 8.5. I will have no problem having multiples of any cards that I own. I don't think there's any, and at least with the modern stuff, like here's a card that does have parallels that I added because it's like a poor man's Galactic. This is from the 21 National from the show last year. A silver pack insert, number to 50 right there. Tells you on the flip. 48 of 50, real shiny. The back is very generic. In an SGC holder. I don't know what's going on with this white box down here. It's kind of annoying, but the fireworks do show through that. Not so much on the camera, but this is the poor man's Galactic. So at least with the modern cards, and again, you collect how you want. But when I'm acquiring something that, and I don't have one handy to show, but a case hit from Panini product, that nobody knows how many there are, but you know there's not 50 of them or 100 of them. Print run's probably 10 or 20. Having these in my collection is more impressive than, having 25 copies of a blue refractor that's numbered to 150. And I'm not saying that's not impressive, because it is. But the blue refractor looks like the red refractor, looks like the orange refractor, looks like the purple refractor. And and this might change. I might feel different 3 months from now, 3 weeks from now, a year from now. I might feel different. But I'm having self-admitted parallel fatigue, parallel burnout, because the image is exactly the same. And that's, and it's a lot more difficult to find modern or ultra-modern cards that don't have parallels. And then you can get into semantics as well. Like I picked up another one of these because my snipe, I set a really low snipe and it won. And this, excuse me. I think this is my third or fourth copy, but there are no parallels to this. I mean, technically, Topps Chrome, same image, Sapphire, same image, but for Topps, I don't want to use the P word, or I guess because a flagship, I suppose, could say that, but there is no parallel for this. You own this card. This is the only version of this card. I have this card. And again, I like semantics like this. Pick this up from 16 Bowman International Ink. Insert set. There are no parallel. I think there might be some rare parallels. There's an autographed version. Obviously because it's called International Ink. But I didn't have one of these in the collection. So just happy to add that to the collection. From the first Montgomery Club set. I don't know if I've shown this one off, but semantics, is this a rookie card? I think it is, because it came in a complete set, like complete Montgomery set one. But again, we've talked about that plenty this year. But I'm just happy to have that in the collection. I would like to add a Ronnie like this too. I don't want to pay the 10 tax, because when a PSA 9 is half, if not cheaper, than a 10, and you have them at arm's length, the price just doesn't, the price point just doesn't make sense to me. I get it, resale, it sells 10, sell for more, gem mint. Okay, fine, but collecting it costs more too. So the payoff at the end will be more, but also the entry price is more. And like the Soto, Cunha, Tatis, Vlad Jr. case hits that I'm trying to collect, I'm also very, very high, and and I've heard, I don't participate in this person's community, but I've heard one of the more popular investor channels here on YouTube is venturing into vintage cards. So I always like to say that when you collect long enough, you touch all the bases. You go through all the cycles. Vintage, modern, ultra modern, prospects, all of it. Wax. You touch all the bases. You do this long enough, you touch all the bases. But I really, as weird as it is to say this out loud, Hank Aaron is just so underappreciated as a whole. He's not with us anymore, and I get it. I personally feel he's better than Willie Mays. I know that's a hot take. Willie Mays is better at defense. better fielder, the catch, all that stuff. But Hank Aaron hit more home runs than Babe Ruth. When I get into the Bonds thing, we won't get into that now. I have no problem with Bonds, but a lot of people, oh, Hank Aaron is my home run king. Well, I just can't. I have difficulty wrapping my mind around what it was like in 1973, 1974 for Hank Aaron. Getting death threats in the mail 24/7, 7 days a week. Then going out and performing. That's just I don't want to say I've never heard anything negative about Aaron, because I've heard a couple things, but just, man, I don't know. I just feel that, like I've said for a decade plus, there's no wrong time to buy a Hank Aaron rookie. It's still true. It's a heck of a lot more expensive now, but I did add a card that I've not owned before, and that's this 55 Bowman. This Bowman rookie is only because Bowman folded after 55. Topps bought them and squashed the brand. But it was really difficult to find a centered copy. See, I want, when I'm buying vintage cards, and this is something that not everyone follows, but it's evidently popular by lack of results, but I want centered, and I want the main image, whether it be a portrait shot, an action shot, to be as free as possible of defects. Like this has very, very rounded corners. Don't care. But the centering is really good. Really nice centering. And, the main image is fine. Like, if this had great corners and a crease down here, wouldn't care. I'd buy that. Because that crease is going to save me a bunch of money. So I've got a card. I've got another Aaron card. Well, I've got two more Aaron cards, but I've got another Aaron card on the way that I've never owned before. That I was hoping it would have been here in time for tonight's episode, but I will definitely show it off next time. But using the current bias against a certain particular grading card company in my favor to save a bunch of money. You'll see it when it arrives. It's got subgrades, and put that, and I'll show that off next time. But one more before I go. A friend of mine who I won't name him, but if he wants to out himself in the comments, that's fine. But I had made a post on Twitter saying, "Hey, I'm looking for 50s Aarons, low grade, high eye appeal, centered, blah blah blah." Like the Bowman, the 55 Bowman I just showed. Sent me a message, say, "Hey, I have this available." And, the centering is not the best, but the centering is good. I mean, this is a high number card, 561. And it's an all-star card, the second one, the second year they started making all-star game cards. First being in 58. But gave me a really good price on this, and I had to pick it up. Like, I'd like to stick to the base cards, but 50s are 50s. So this is from 1959. It's not getting any younger, and it's got very nice registration on it. No facial problems, no image problems, and happy to have that in the collection. I do have a copy. I can't remember. Might even be a BVG. Might be. I can't remember. I should take it out and look. But very happy to have that in the collection. It's been a really slow go as far as pickups, just because the stuff I'm trying to focus on is just not. It's either not available or it's overpriced. So it's even, and it's weird to say that out loud, that an ultra modern release could be unavailable. A couple of the inserts for Soto I'm trying to add to my collection I've never even seen, and neither of my friends. It's on the checklist, but I've never seen it. Never seen them.